Hello, Sparks leaders. I'm so happy that you guys were willing to help out with Sparks this year. And I'm just going to go through a few items. I just feel like none of us really have time to get together for a meeting. So I just thought I would do this video so that we can go over a few things. Some of you might not be familiar with the books. Your kids maybe didn't go through these books, so you're not terribly familiar about what is going on. So first of all, any new Sparks child will go through the entrance booklet first. Sparks is a 3-year program. It starts at SK and goes to grade 2. And some kids might be starting in grade 2 though. And many of them are starting though in SK. So, but whoever is beginning their very first year in Sparks, they will go through this entrance booklet first. And the entrance booklet is only the verse John 3:16. So they can do it in sections though. They don't have to do the whole verse at once. And I think the first night, what we will do, breaking into our groups, is that we will go through this. Most of the kids are going to be new. There isn't a lot of returning kids. The majority are new and will need this entrance booklet. So I think my plan right now is we will break up into groups, and we have games before handbook time. So the teams will be broken up probably by Ike, and we will remain in those groups for our handbook time. We will go downstairs for handbook time, but we will remain in those groups of blue, green, yellow, and red. So as we go downstairs, we will start going through these entrance booklets, even with the kids that have already done it before and are in 2nd or 3rd year. They might have a verse, those 2nd and 3rd year kids might have a verse that night, but maybe not. So they can sit through the entrance booklet again and go through this review. I think we'll just read through it. It's a comic strip. And then we will just help them learn the verse together this first week, but then they'll go home and practice it better with their parents, and the next week they can say the verse either in parts or the entire thing. And once they finish the whole verse, then you will sign off on it, and at award time that night, they will get their vest and their first book. And so the first book is, well, there's 3 books for each of the 3 years that they're in Sparks. These are what they look like. And the first book is Hang Glider. The books all work the same though, in that the first section, they will have John 3:16 again as a review, because they just did that with the entrance booklet. And then they will have verses that spell Sparks. So the first one is S is for Savior, and then P is for Power, and it goes all the way through until you get to the last letter of the word Sparks, and it's, I passed it. Okay, the last letter is S is for Saved. Then they do another review verse, and then at the end you will see that it says, you just earned your hang glider rank emblem. That is the first badge. Okay, so at the end of each section, it will tell you what the award is that they are getting. And after they finish this first section, they get their badge. So they can work on 1 verse a night, or they can do 5 verses a night, whatever they've gone over at home and memorized with their parents at home. If we have time, and I'm hoping we will, because I'm hoping our groups will be small enough that we can practice verses with some of those kids that aren't getting enough help at home. when we were trained originally from the Awana missionary that came to our church and did a training session with us, he said that kids should only get 1 or 2 helps. We're a little lenient with some of the kids that weren't church kids that were coming and weren't getting help from their parents at home. And you will know who those are. Although this year we've only been offering Awana to our church families. So I'm thinking most of these kids should be getting help at home and should be able to do the verses with only a couple helps. And sometimes I just know that they just didn't make the time to do it, and I know that they can do it better because I've listened to their verses other weeks and I know how well they normally do it. So I'll kind of say, I think you can do better. Let's go home and practice that a little bit more this week. So you can do that. You don't have to just sign off on it. I'd rather they memorize God's word. I mean, that's really what the goal is. So if they need more work on a verse, then feel free to say you need to practice this a little bit more, and we'll try it again next week. If we have time to practice it over with them during handbook time, then that's fine. We can practice it with them, and maybe by the end of handbook time they're able to say it better, and that's fine too. So we get to section 1, and they have verses to say. You'll see when you get to the end of the section, they will tell you that they've earned their first red jewel for their wings. So when they get their first red jewel, they also get their wings at the same time. So I will go to the back of the handbook so you can kind of see what they will be getting. So this is their red vest that they get when they are done their entrance booklet. So they get the first book, they get their vest, and then when they finish that first section, they get their badge that goes here. And once they start into the regular sections, they start earning jewels for their wings. So they'll get red jewels and green jewels, and there's 4 red sections and 4 green sections. They also receive blue jewels, and those are attendance awards, which we will give out at 4 different times during the year, because there's 4 blue jewels. So at some point, probably by Christmas time, where we'll be approximately halfway through the year, and maybe by that time they'll have their 2 blue jewels, and by the end of the year they'll have all 4 blue jewels if they've been attending regularly. So so that's how it works. You will see at the end of each section, like this is section 2, and so they say their verses, and you will sign. Once they said their verse, you will sign and date it so that we know that they are done that verse for that night. And once they get to the end of the section, then again it will say you've earned red jewel number 2, and there's going to be a little slip of paper, and I will give each of you that are listening to verses some of these slips, and you will write down the child's name and the award that they're getting that night. And at the end of the night, they will receive either their badge or their jewels for that night. And that's how we keep track of that. And I actually will go through all of those slips of paper each night and mark down in my book so that I can kind of keep track of where all the kids are at. But that's the part that you will do. You will listen to verses, and if they're getting an award that night, you will write it down on the slip of paper and then give it to me. And I will gather the awards for the awards at the end of the award ceremony at the end of the night. So, like I said, they also get green jewels, and same at the end of the green section, it will tell you that they've earned their green jewel 2 at the end of that section. So not every night will they get an award. It just depends where they are in the book and how quickly they're going through it. Now, some kids will go through book quickly, they will do numerous verses a week. And if that happens and they get to the end of the book where it says, congratulations, you finished the book, and they will earn a ribbon. But that ribbon we will not give them until the end of the Awana year, because we'll do a big awards night where they will receive their end of their book awards. Now, if this is a kid that there's still plenty of time to go in the Awana year, and they've finished their book and they're, say, only in SK and will probably be coming to Awana for 2 more years, then it doesn't make sense for them to start the next book yet, because then they won't have enough to do for the next year and the year after that. So something else that they can do, and what we encourage them to do, is do a review of the book that they just finished. So they do earn an award. It's a badge that goes underneath their wings if they've done the review of the book. So you will see in the book that there's a little review area. So they will go back through and they will say all the verses all over again. And then the Sparks leader will initial the area where they said the verse again a second time and date it. So like I said, these are for kids that they're in year 1, book 1, and they still have, time to do other books in other years. And so they're not rushing to try to start the next book. If they have time at the end of the Awana year to review the book, then we encourage them to do it. They'll only learn and memorize the verses more, and it gives them time to finish the other books in the appropriate years. And is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I think that's it. I think I've handed out most of the shirts to everyone, to the Awana leaders. And anyways, this first week is going to be a trial run. And if you have any questions, please come to me and ask. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm sure you guys will enjoy it too. So if you have any questions, let me know. And until then, we'll see you Tuesday.